Hello, everyone. We're here with Caro, and today we will touch upon a very important topic, which is about monetization. And obviously, now more than ever, it's very important to be able to monetize monetize our traffic because at the end of the day, the traffic will be declining because of AI. So we need to make sure that at least the traffic that will come on our website is monetizing, is converting, and is giving us the maximum. So, and for that, we invited Caro to speak about this topic that she has been implementing at Mind Valley all kinds of strategies to increase monetization, and she will share everything with us. Thank you. Thank you, Carl, for being here with us and then sharing everything with growth hackers.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Theo. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. We will learn about how to monetize our blogs, our content hubs, everything that has informational value, and how to really bring that organic presence and bring those organic leads into your business. So we are really going to go deep into strategy and go deep into how to bring results. At the end of the day, that's all what it's about. I hope I can move the slides. Yeah, all right. So type in the chat yes if that resonates. If you've ever felt like you are putting your heart and soul and or your mind into creating content, but you don't really see results in the form of leads or in the form of sales. Or if you've ever been on a meeting with your marketing manager or your CEO and you were trying to justify the value of investing or creating a blog, and you've been compared to other channels like paid ads, and you've met some sort of resistance. Or if you've had you've been really working on getting that content up, but you haven't really been seeing those results and those leads. So if that resonates, because that was me for some time, you should know that you are not alone. And the good news is that you are in a community of people, of ambitious growth hackers like yourself, because you're in this webinar, and we're going to learn together. But the bad news is that it's not maybe the easiest task if you're following the traditional playbook of trying to really get the traffic, as Theo was saying at the beginning, that is getting harder and harder to do. But on the flip side, and that's what we're going to focus on today, there is science to it. So I divided this presentation into what is the framework that you can plug and play, the 9 monetization tactics that you can pick and choose, right? You can test, you can experiment, see what works. And all of that will be combined in a 10x action plan. And know that this is for serial bloggers or people who own a company blog, or you have some sort of a content hub, and you would like to monetize and convert the visitors that you have on your amazing content hub. Just before we start, a little bit about me. Theo already gave a beautiful introduction. I will just start with the story that when I joined Mind Valley, because this is the company where I'm currently at, Mind Valley is the biggest platform for human transformation with programs for any leveling up any area of your life. And almost from day one when I started, I took over the blog. And I put it as my target, like a North Star, to monetize it. Because you just got to deliver those results, and since then we've tested so many different tactics, and Growth Rocks has been with us for almost 2 years, been a really big part of this transformation, and today we are in a position where we're getting resources and we're getting featured, and we're getting we're seeing that return of investment in the form of doubled conversion rates, more leads, and it really came with a lot of testing and trying to tap into that psychology of human behavior. And now I've combined all of these learnings into this webinar that I'm really excited to show you. So going from any type of companies that is an NGO or startup, all the way to those tech giants like Groupon and Google, e-commerce, anything like that, into now Mindvalley, it's clear to me that not only content hubs, aka blogs, definitely have space in a larger website ecosystem, but they can be the driver for organic growth. There is no doubt in my mind. And now you're going to learn exactly what to do about it. So there's a little bit of an awkward situation we are now, because with the huge growth of AI tools and AI-generated content, it's just so easy to do. And I'm sure you guys have already seen so much. Some of it is better quality, some of it is lower quality, but if content equals money automatically, then now all of us should be millionaires, right? Because it's so easy to create content. But it's not. And I've been participating recently in this Neil Patel webinar, and they showed this paradox that, yeah, we have more content, but we don't have more conversions, quite the opposite. So the key is to approach content with this strategy and purpose, to only think, okay, am I going to monetize those visitors? Because we need to bring business growth. We can hack this growth. But how is it even going to happen, right? If click-through rates on Google, on search engines are declining, and there's this research on SparkToro that shows 60% of the searches on Google end with 0 click. Okay, and it is also predicted that about 90% of informational queries, they will be answered by AI. So you can't really rely on that traffic. So you gotta move people to some sort of owned ecosystem. Which brings me to email. And as every channel, email has ups and downs, but we know that it's consistently proven to be the platform to convert your leads. Obviously, you need to have a strategy with a product. You need to know what to sell to your email leads, but it is way easier. And we know through the open rates that have been holding strong, that it ends from, in every business that I've been, email has always been, one of the top, if not the top channel. So the trick is to nurture your visitors, convert them into your leads, bring them into your email, and then from email and convert further. So here the key to remember is that you gotta really focus on getting people into their emails. And Lovey AJ Jones, which is, if you don't follow her on LinkedIn, you should. She's a brilliant marketing strategist, speaker, and an author. She posted this video that said, what actually makes more money than a follower? It's an email address. So it's also to kind of double tap on that premise that, yes, sure, we have a lot of noise, we have a lot of places where people can see us. And you, of course, need to be in all those places to be discovered, but always go to that email. Because if we look at the different types of relationships with our audience, we have new users, then that user should become a returning one so that they see your content again and again. They follow. Yes?
Sorry for interrupting you. Something's wrong with the presentation, and we get a lot of messages that people, they cannot see the presentation, and so your slides are not moving. We just see the first page of your presentation, the cover of your presentation currently.
I'm so sorry. So if I move my slides, there is nothing happening?
No.
You can't see anything. Oh.
We see the the cover page. So if you can just reshare the presentation, that would be, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if I reshare the screen, yeah, is that what you meant?
Now we do see something changing. So let's see.
All right. It's loading.
Let's see.
Do you see that?
Yes, it's loading. We see that loading.
Do you see now the slide?
Yes, please go to some slides. I believe now. Okay, that one, that is the one that we were looking all this time. Yes, now we see. Now we see everything. I believe we are fine.
All right. So you see
people,
what to expect.
Yes, people, could you please confirm, Hugo, Teresa, Fiona, that you could see the presentation? Is that okay now? Yes, now. Thank you, Fiona, for that. So I'm leaving the stage. The stage is all yours. Bye, Carol.
Thank you, and thank you guys for your patience. I hope now it should be fine. I'm just gonna put it back to full screen. Hopefully it will. It's gonna work well. All right. In case we have still anything not working, please do interrupt and scream. So hopefully the slides should be now moving. I'm just going to show you this is the content paradox. Hopefully there is no lag, but I'll just wait in case something is not fine. Yeah, on this slide, this is just to show the difference between the open rates versus the click-through rate on Google. So we know we need to really move those users into our email groups, our email list. And yeah, because if you think about your leads as, a person that you're trying to have a committed relationship with, then lead is that stage when you're kind of saying, hey, let's take a trip together. So you're more engaged, you're more starting to be exclusive almost, because in the lead stage, people already gave you their contact. So they made a conscious choice of, yeah, I wanna be contacted by them. And this is so much more powerful than followers. You gotta, of course, have pass through all of these stages, but where I would invest more time, it would be definitely in this lead magnet for the reasons of getting them closer to getting value of your product, whatever it is that you're selling. So that 5-step monetization framework, and I think this deserves a webinar on its own, but I'm just going to put this here in that framework so that you know where to put each of those tactics. So the first step, if this was the first day when I'm about to monetize 10x monetization of a blog that I'm working on, I would start with auditing the page. You can't do anything without proper data. So what is performing? Where are the gaps? From there, you also need to understand your audience. So tools that help you get your audience research are very important, especially even more these days when you kind of have to understand the full discovery funnel, or more like a cycle. When it's not only about keyword research, but it's also about all those touch points, where they discover you, on which social platforms. Is it also maybe forums? Is it YouTube? So try to see where they are searching and what are they searching for. And especially look at what are the problems that they are specifically typing. So for Mindvalley, these problems can be anything from how to set proper goals to how to heal from heartbreak, because we do have products that give them transformation, give them not only a solution, but also take them through the whole personal growth. But at the beginning is always the problem, and you can find that in audience research. Then you need to find your unique value proposition, right? So we're talking about lead magnets, and I'm going to talk extensively about what types, what works, how to do them. What makes you the only choice? Why are you the solution? What type of unique point of view or unique added value you can have to them, you can propose to them. Then you build your stack of assets. This, I would say, is the main point of today's webinar. And you need to test for conversion. So iterate, launch, iterate, test, experiment, always get back to your data. And this can be a cycle. So you can do that every quarter or every 6 months, right? Because then you can see what worked and you can build and grow from there. But definitely look at this framework as something that needs to always be there and just repeat for whatever cycle you would like. And now we're going to the clue on to the gist of this presentation, because here are the 9 tactics, and you know, in 1 hour I will breeze through them, but I wanted to give as many as I could think about, because, well, for sure there are more, but those are the ones where I tested personally with our team, and we know that this is working. So tactic number 1. Even if you are starting today, or even if you have tons of work to do, like a blog cleanup, or, you know, you have to optimize almost from scratch, do that, sure, but set up an even the simplest form to collect emails. Even if your company doesn't have like a proper newsletter, or, you know, it's still in that startup stage, it doesn't matter. You can even send them weekly best performing blogs or videos or whatever content that you find that adds the most value. But start already collecting those leads as soon as possible. It's very easy to launch. There are a lot of different platforms you can use, but really start on day 1. With the Mindvalley blog, we started a little too late, but the moment we started back in 2022, the total lead count improved by 27%. And it's not like it built over time, but the first month we could already see the results, because we could see people wanted to get more from us. You give them value by answering their questions. They find your content, they see that you are really like changing something in their life, and they want more. So really don't wait. Second is have a library of resources. And we can see that in so many different businesses. I just put here 4 examples from Growth Rocks, from Com, HubSpot, which is like, I don't know, the goat of the great of all times when it comes to monetizing blogs, and also Mindvalley Pulse, which is the name for our blog. So we started this, and why the library of resources works is because we are now used to this binging content. So if you have something that is snackable, easily digestible, and doesn't require a lot of time, doesn't require like time blocking for that webinar that lasts 90 minutes, but can be something downloadable, have that available easily. Also have filters, because they can customize it. And we know that when you have a lot of choice, but no way of kind of filtering through, that can be a problem. So that's why filters are a must when you have that. You can categorize it by like a problem that they have, or maybe by a format. We have different formats, from a free class to a downloadable to quiz, but have that choice for them. And also studies prove that if we are the one that we can select options that boost our participation and motivation. And I have to tell you this story. I was once, it translates to offline marketing. I was once participating in this Mindvalley event where I was standing at a booth when we were selling different merchandise or our journals, different products, physical products. And like food traffic was not so big when I just put on one item of each category. So you would have a journal, a bracelet, a t-shirt, a hoodie, you know. The moment we put almost all of our stock on the table, so you will see like beautifully designed, a column of journals here, people just started coming like crazy. So there is something about giving people choice, showing abundance, that is attractive. And you can absolutely do that in your digital world. Then next, the digital tools. I put it as one of the first ones because they are so powerful. And if you think of Uber Suggest by Neil Patel, or any like website grader or anything that adds value that you can then use, that stays with you, that is really a goldmine. The reason I think it's not as popular as I think it should be is because it takes time. It takes maybe expertise to create. Now, not so much because we have so many different AI tools. And I know that Theo is doing a webinar tomorrow about this, how to build your own digital tools. It's never been easier to do that. And you can even use AI to brainstorm with you what type of tools to build. And I think that could be another webinar, actually, what type of lead magnets to create, especially with these digital tools. But tools are so valuable because they drive backlinks, people share. Like if you have some sort of a meal planner or a morning routine generator, that just stays with you because it provides that value day in and day out. Not only for you, but for your friends who also have the same problem to solve. So for sure, invest in those tools. And then the fourth, this is my favorite by far. Give me any quiz and I can't resist a quiz, okay? So there's science to it. We know that we just love to learn more about ourselves. And quizzes trigger introspection, especially if your audience are people who like to know more about themselves. Then quizzes are really a way to go. And we also, there is this thing, which I think that's why selfies are so popular, because self-focused content is more shareable, according to science. So if you have something that is like, oh, my intelligence type is musical intelligence, then I want to share it to show my, hey, look how cool I am, but also because of belonging to our tribe. So I want to share to ask who else is in that same group. Yeah, so the moment when we see that there is a personalized results, that boosts that perceived value. It's not just something that's a cookie cutter solution, but this is specifically for me. I'm that type. So when we did a test a few weeks ago, when we had a CTA on the blog that said, sign up to the newsletter. And our value proposition was, our newsletter is cool. I'm simplifying a lot. But then I switched the copy and I switched that messaging to, what's your life mastery score? Okay, because we have this life mastery score quiz that you can do on Mindvalley, and then it gives you your like a roadmap of personal growth according to what you selected as those are my areas that I need to improve on. So when we switched that, our leads improved by 106%. That was the only thing we did. Switched from sign up newsletter to switching it on to the user so that they can learn more about themselves. Quizzes are really, really, really powerful. Even if you have one, I would really focus on getting something evergreen, which we're going to get to it in a moment. Also, something that you can populate your free resources library with are those digestible downloadables. What are those? So it can really be anything, and it depends a lot on what your business is about. But if you can do anything from journal prompts, like we have here, the manifestation journal, to recipe books. I know that these are quite popular. You know, you don't have to have a big thing, but you can just take a really niche portion of your focus cluster. So let's say that you are one of your clusters is social media, let's just say, and social media marketing. So you can even have a downloadable that is a template for, you know, the content calendar template. We can see them everywhere on the internet. And the beauty of this is because in the past, I think ebooks are probably still a thing. I personally don't read them because we are so busy these days that I would rather listen to a podcast than read an ebook. But if I have some sort of cards that I can save on my phone and then come back to them whenever I need it, whether it's for cooking a dessert or having some journal prompts or affirmation cards, which were hugely popular for us when we launched it, that not only can be more shareable, but can add this value as a form of a habit. So what you want to create is not exactly a one-off thing that people just do it, consume it, and then kind of throw it away and forget about it. But instead, you should think about of your lead magnets as something that people can come back to, that they can use almost every day. Another popular downloadable we have is conversation starters. Every time you're trying to make a good conversation with someone, you're on a conference, trying to network, or even, you know, sparking a meaningful conversation with your friends over dinner, you can then come back to them, have them saved on your phone. So that can be applied to any industry. They don't take a long time to do, especially with, again, the AI generation tools that we have. You can use Canva for it. You can use Gamma, you know, even ChatGPT we can use for that. So I encourage everyone to invest in those downloadables because they are easy to make and easy to digest, and then they can last for a long time. What we did when we started with those downloadables, our lead count improved by 33%. So on top of what we already had different lead formats, we added the format of downloadable PDFs, and that boosted our total lead count. Next, we go to the evergreen. Yeah, another big thing. I was kind of hinting this before. And as much as having a choice and having a rich library of valuable assets is a great way to get people hooked, sometimes when you don't have the time or when you don't have those resources to keep producing, or even from the ones that you already have, like, try to find one that can be the best evergreen offer. And the way to do that is, first you would identify your highest performing content and keywords. So if maybe you are trying to establish your expertise in the cluster of dresses, because maybe you sell dresses, then this is your cluster, right? You're trying to establish your expertise, and you know that this is already bringing you, it's already top performing. Try to find that balance. Then look at the website. You can use different tools, Hotjar, VWO, to see how people engage. Like, maybe they engage more, or any other data analytics platform that you use, Mixpanel, or so you can see which of the either existing like products or those lead magnets people engage the most with. Maybe it's your quiz. Maybe it's a webinar. Maybe it's that like an outfit generator, since we're talking about dresses, you know, or is it like your body type quiz? So many different choices. See which one they spend most of the time with, what is your format, and then look at the blog post of the highest time on page metrics. You can see like with the lowest bounce rate, something that shows you, okay, this is where people spend a lot of time. And if you choose properly, then that should combine your top performing content with the niche you're trying to continue building your expertise in, and then apply that hook to that category. And that's where you have your evergreen offer. And it lasts long after any campaign. So try to make it something that whatever, it's agnostic to any campaign that you have. Black Friday, summer campaign, all year long, it can be relevant. This can maximize your ROI because you know what already works and you know what type of lead magnets people are engaging with the most. And now if you combine it with placing that on the page type that brings you the most traffic, that's like your 80-20 rule in motion. What that means is, and to give you a specific example, we know that on the Mindvalley blog, we have different page types. So you would have the category pages, you would have your free resources pages, you would have a home page, you would have like author pages, and you would have, of course, the articles themselves. Not a big surprise, but the biggest traffic is on the articles. So that's where we get the most people. So if I wanted to maximize the ROI of a lead magnet that I know is already getting us leads, has a high conversion rate, I would place it there, like on any single post. And we can talk about placements in a minute. Because this way you already have the traffic, you already have a lead magnet that works. So you're setting yourself up for success. Right? So find that evergreen content, find that hook, and double down by placing it where people spend the most time in. All right, moving on, we have, this is more about conversion rate optimization tactic. And this was a recent discovery, probably our most successful test to date. And it's so simple. So what we notice is that when we send people away from a blog article to a landing page where they sign up to a webinar or they watch a class or something that is for free and can bring that lead to the email list, the clicks on the actual banner are high, like that click-through rate is high, but then the conversion rate on the landing page drops. So what's the solution to this? Before you send people to the landing page, try to convert them already. So it gives that sense of unfinished task. And there is something called Zeigarnik effect, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, that shows that we cannot deal very well with incomplete actions. So if I have like you see on the GIF on the right-hand side, like if you have a pop-up that, and you have that blurred background there on the second plan, there is something under this, an unfinished task. So you feel more compelled to do it versus when you click on the banner, you go to another page, the page, takes time to load, and there is a new task closes. And then okay, so this is a new task, I'm going to do that later. It's amazing how simple that is. When we did that, our leads improved by 242%. So all of this is to really try to convert people right now, like when they are reading, make it a very frictionless, seamless journey, so that you don't lose all that build-up attention just because you send them to another page. And here's something else about the frictionless experience. And this is in the context of a blog, I think, even more important, because people come to your blog because they want to get some sort of information. I would guess a lot of this because they come from informational queries. They don't necessarily maybe even know your brand yet. They not necessarily even want to buy anything yet. And they maybe don't even know if they maybe don't even know what their problem is, right? So there are so many different stages here. And we also found that trying to direct sell has not worked at all. But seamlessly offering something for free, well, that's the solution. Well, for free in exchange of an email, like let's be clear here. So, but every time we were testing like a pop-up, even an exit pop-up, versus something that is more smooth, like a slide in, something that shows up, doesn't covers like maybe 1/3 of the screen, and you have an X there so you can close it, doesn't interrupt you, doesn't like break your reading or watching. Like without any comparison, really, pop-ups just don't work. Not even data shows that, but anybody I talked with and like getting feedback from all around, like pop-ups just don't do that, especially in the context of a blog where you come here, you want to read, or you want to watch a video, or want to listen to a podcast, and we all know how annoying it is when we watch a YouTube video and all of a sudden we have an ad in the middle. So don't do that. You can have still that visibility over your lead magnet by having a sticky sidebar, so something that maybe shows up after a few seconds when they start reading. So not right away. It doesn't like scream at you, but just you get people to read, to start consuming content. It opens up. They can close it at any time, but they can reopen it at any time as well. That's the key. Like, don't quit forever, because maybe they reach on the end of the article or a podcast or a video, and they would want to come back to that offer. So those are those slide-ins. There are sticky sidebars, really nice to have. Like, you have them, so many different blog examples. Like, there's the sticky, non-invasive, something that is always there. A caveat here I wanted to say is that on mobile, it's a little bit more difficult because sometimes you just have to have something that's either at the beginning or at the end, because you can't have something that like shows you, like, there are different tactics, but so also optimize for the device. On desktop is easier because you have more space. And another thing is those floating ribbons. You can have something at the top, like a sticky. That's another thing that we added, and it's bringing us leads continuously in the top navigation. You can have a nice button that shows up, like that pops up maybe with a different color, with a punchy call to action copy, and it's there. Like, it's always there. It doesn't interrupt anything. Same with the footer. So just have something that is that's always visible inside, but doesn't interrupt that flow. And not only you might see more conversions in the case of Mindvalley, we've definitely experienced that, but also you can avoid that annoyance that people may have when they see yet another pop-up, which we all see way too often, I think, on the internet. All right, and last but not least, this is a little cheeky because it's not technically a lead gen tactic on the blog. However, you can absolutely use your blog to connect with other publishers or other creators when you help each other out. So it can be one-sided, or it can be like a two-way when you help promote each other. So what happens is that try to find creators that have their own newsletters with engaged audience and do newsletter swaps. So if you have maybe something of value, and again, it doesn't have to be something that they will pay for. You can use that as a lead gen tactic. So you have something for free that you use to build your email list. And you ask them to be featured. Like here, an example with the Growth Hackers newsletter. We had the social media summit, and it added more leads. And it wasn't even our audience. Like, they were, the people who share the same values, have similar problems to solve, but are not yet brand aware. And you can do that, as I said, two-way. So this can be a collaboration. And I think it's a nice twist on what in the SEO world we know as link building to lead building, which, they give you that value. While with links, you kind of have to wait for that to also build up. So I would recommend trying out making again, this is a community, so I know you guys are all about growth hacking, trying to find the best, work smarter, not harder, and I'm sure that there are a lot of collaboration opportunities here. And as you see, it's something that I don't see a lot happening, but I think there is no reason why not to do it. So there you have it, our 9 tactics. Each of them can be adapted to your own business. You should test and experiment. It's I will always highlight this. But those are also the playbooks that you can even try today. So to summarize, your checklist here that you can repeat is auditing your top 3, let's say 3 content clusters. Where do you want to build your expertise? What do you want to be known for? What is your niche? It can be even one thing. Identify your highest performing content here, maybe even go further. Like if your niche, if you're trying to be that number 1 top of mind for meditation, then you can even go further. Like maybe I'm getting more content in meditation techniques, or like sleep meditation or meditation sounds. Find that, like find those your main clusters. Build your relevant lead magnets. You have many different formats, and really there's no shortage. Like there are times when a webinar funnel is the golden kit of lead generation. Then there is maybe a challenge funnel, which is another thing. There used to be the time when ebooks were a thing, and that was like the best thing to collect leads. So many different formats. Try what works for you. But build that. But build those lead magnets. It doesn't have to take a long time. You don't really have to, ask for permission. You can do it yourself as content marketeers, or as growth hackers, as marketeers, and using AI. It's really never been simpler. But as you check your data, as you measure, as you analyze, try to choose quickly enough, soon enough, one evergreen CTA, whatever that might be for you. And there's, as you can come back to those slides and see how to build that evergreen CTA. I would suggest as well to go for the formats that are proven to bring results. And if I would start from scratch, I would invest either in a digital tool and or a quiz. I would try to make those my evergreen CTAs. Also because they bring that element of engagement, and we want people to interact with your content. We want to show that that they spend time on page, and try to partner with at least one newsletter. You can do that maybe after you build up a little bit, or maybe you already have another newsletter in mind that could be perfect for this, and you just decide, you know what, I'm just going to go with that partnership, with that newsletter partnership first, because this seems like the lowest hanging fruit for me. So adapt it to your needs, but keep it as a framework. And again, you can repeat it as a cycle. And if you are left with one thing from this presentation, is that to launch is human and to iterate is divine. So always measure and log what worked and what didn't, rinse and repeat, because I wouldn't be having all of this insight if we didn't have a very meticulous system in place to log everything, to have a business case, to see what others are doing, try it out, scale it up if it works, but you can't just launch something and magically wait for things to appear, because that analytics part is so important. So there's a science to it, there's an art to it. Talking with your audience, also very important. Look what your competitors are doing. Take advantage of the wealth of tools that you have that make lead magnet creation easier than it was ever before. And just, enjoy your leads coming in. Because summing everything up, you have traffic, right? Like for sure there is some traffic, or you can build it with time. So you already have your audience. You have your product, I assume. So something that you offer to customers, something that brings bottom of the funnel revenue to your customers. You have your content. So I'm sure you have also the informational value that you add built around the product, around solutions to your audience's challenges. And now you have a system that you can bring that thing in the middle that is between building a following, an audience being discovered, and that end of the funnel, or like the ending where people buy, where from a visitor to lead to the customer. And now that in the middle, that lead part, that is your golden place, because they already are engaged with you, because they see how much value you can add to them. And with time, and that goes to our email marketing tactics, they will become your customers. There is absolutely no doubt to it, because it's been proven time and time again. So I know that we have some time for questions, and that was all I had today. Thank you so much. Let me know on LinkedIn how that works out. I'm super happy to connect and to brainstorm, or to see how that worked out for you.
Thank you, Caro. That was very, very useful and very enlightening. So we have some questions here. One is coming from Jim saying, how easy is to find partners to collaborate with?
Mm-hmm. How easy it is. I mean,
How
in our
easy?
case, yeah, in our case, it was pretty easy because we partner with GrowthRocks. But I think if you have like a community like this, a growth hackers, and if you maybe are part of different Slack groups, or like LinkedIn groups, something that connects people that are kind of in the same journey, or maybe people that are in the same kind of industry, that's where you can reach out to them. Or if you follow certain creators on LinkedIn, a lot of people already have their own newsletters. So depending on what scale are you looking for, I would start with that, like people in your networks, businesses in your network that already are there, or the ones that you don't even know personally, but you know that your audience could benefit a lot from them, and then reach out. Try to make it a win-win situation, so that it is really a partnership. Yeah, I hope that answers.
Okay. Another question is why people will convert more, because we are giving them more and more.
Convert to a product, I assume.
To a lead. Why people will convert to a lead, because we are giving them more and more.
Yeah, and that's an excellent question. So the trick is to give them a sneak peek of something that they would aspire to do more, but that is only available with the full product. So a good example is masterclass.com is doing that well. We also do that on Mindvalley, is where, so if you're selling courses like full program, or even you have a membership platform, give them a sneak peek of that platform. And you can see that on any subscription, right? So every lead, yes, should give them something that they can use, but design your leads in a way that they know that there's more waiting for them on the other side being when they become a paying customer. Another example of this is, let's say you have a quiz, and at the end you have the insights of, here's your report of like who you are, or like what type you are. That usually brings some insight that can show, okay, so I have some work to do, because maybe I have some potential that is not unlocked. Like if you are sharing that you have this specific body type, and if you want to kind of improve from there, those are the recommended even programs or products that you can get. And now that you already made the first step, you would have to come back and say, well, how can you say it's harder to say no when you already made the first step. So it's easier to make the second step after. And I think that question is really good, and I get that asked quite a lot. And really the trick is always show them the next step. Always show them what else what are they losing if they are not going further. But that further is behind the paywall.
Okay, thank you. Another question is isn't it too difficult to create a library of resources? How much time you need to invest as a company to come up with something like that?
No, I don't think so. Depending on what systems you're using, but if you already have like start with a list of what resources you already have. And then depending on your CMS, like if you're on WordPress, that you can create that. If even a page with like have banners and then links to that, it's really just building one page. If you're thinking of this like in a really, I want to just do it in 2 hours flat, then you would have your data source, you have all your lead magnets, have a simple layout of this is a section for this format, another section for another format, banners with links, as simple as that. You can have more elaborated if you have more time, but if we're talking about speed to execute, yeah, a simple landing page should be fine. And you can even start with 5 lead magnets, depending on what are you offering to your audience.
So what you are saying is that as a lead magnet or as a resources, not everything needs to be very sophisticated. They could be simple things that they just lead and bring and create interest to people to get, right? Simple things, but smart, witty, and in a way that they do make sense for the users.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it's about creating the lead magnets themselves, then yeah, that can be something downloadable, very short, like one pager with a follow-up. And if we're talking about the free resources library, then yeah, as long as you have ways to categorize, which can be, it doesn't even have to be a filter if you don't have a way to use a widget like that, but you can just make a header. So yeah, it doesn't have to be sophisticated at all as a start.
Okay. Another question coming from John is, what was the name of the marketeer we need to follow? You mentioned a name before, when your slides were frozen, and we didn't catch that on screen. So if you could just go back to that slide so that we keep track of that.
Yeah, Lovi Ajay Jones. Hope you can see that slide now.
J. Jones. Okay. Great. So, okay, guys. So that is what we can put on LinkedIn, and then we can follow, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Another question is regarding, you mentioned about, and the whole thing is monetization. So, what is your definition of monetization? What monetization means? Always monetize, or it could be something else.
Right. If we're talking about monetization as direct sales versus talking about monetization as getting people into a system where eventually they can buy from informational content hubs such as blogs, I found it that it is more effective in the long run, for sure, to get them into a system such as an email list, from where they are more prone to buying. That is not to say that you can also monetize directly from a landing page, because you absolutely can. This way you would rather try to optimize for those transactional keywords. But in the context of a blog, how to monetize a blog is you look at the value of your leads. So if you're collecting, say, 100 leads and into your email group, and those 100 leads in the span of 7, 14 days, 3 months, 6 months, depending of the life cycle is, they buy, then you can look at that revenue and divide it by the number of leads, and you have your value per lead. And this is a metric that I use a lot, which is VPL, value per lead, where we look at, okay, if it wasn't for the blog and the lead magnets, we wouldn't have those people that converted later on via email or via any other channel that you think that is the most like prone to convert. So that's what I mean by monetization. Not direct sales because of the specificity of an informational platform such as blogs. But I would recommend using the metric VPL to showcase that monetization value.
Okay, so that's very interesting about monetization. So actually, we're not talking about a monetary way of monetizing leads. It's about getting something for what we give, right? Anything that could be, it starts from an email, but it will end up with converting into a client at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, and again, it's to test in your respective industry or in your respective business. It's to nurture the people who are your prospective audience, who are your prospective customers, without screaming an ad to them, but instead providing value. Because you know that there is this statistic that says that people need to see your brand or your content 11 times before they buy. Unless you have something that converts right away. But I haven't seen a lot of it. But even if you're like a brand like Apple, there's a time in brand building that they did in the prestige and overall brand awareness. So you wouldn't see a brand like Apple maybe having a free resources library. But especially if it's about education, yeah, like this is an untapped potential because people are already looking for solutions related to the product that you have. And if they are not ready to buy, you either wait for them to be ready to buy or you build a relationship with them. And then the next time they think about the thing to buy, they think of you because they already associate that potential solution with your brand.
Okay. And the last question is it because of the AI, is it now the time to invest in a blog, or should we just skip that step and and just sell the product? What is your opinion in investing on a blog in the AI era where content, it's being generated by AI and people, they don't read that much in any case. So what do you believe on that? Do we need a blog?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of micro questions there. So do we need a blog? We need content that converts. Whether you call it a blog, you call it a content hub, you call it a magazine, you call it, I don't know, like a collection of transcripts from your podcast. That is still something that is still a platform that people can find online, that they can, and it's your own space. So I think that what doesn't or starts losing value is the traditional way of doing blogs, when you only generate content and the only thing that people can do is consume that content. That I think is becoming obsolete. But as we saw on this slide, just because you create more content doesn't automatically gives you conversion. So how else are going to people to convert to you if yet they are not ready to buy? Because you have to think about those people as well. There is a pool of people that are looking for a solution. they are not ready to buy, but you can keep them somehow. Now, your content can be discovered on various channels. That can be discovered, or your brand can be discovered on a Reddit forum, or it can be discovered through a TikTok search. That actually doesn't matter that much, as long as you are being discovered where your audience searches, and they have a space where they can getting familiarized with your brand, whether it is through through a blog-like page or like a case study library on your page. I think the word blog here is it's kind of becoming a dirty word now, but as long as it's content that provides value and keeps people engaged, that I don't see going away that soon. Especially if it's so valuable that any other like generic AI content is just not there.
Okay, excellent. So thank you very much for your time. You kept us all very interested to the end, and we saw that more and more people that were coming while you were presenting. Normally it's the opposite. We lose some people as the time passes, but it didn't happen with you. So thank you very much for that. And we will ask our audience to see if they want us to organize an in-depth analysis of a specific topic so that we could go through, we can explain them how things could work, because now we just explain what they can do, and a very nice framework. I saw someone said that it was a very nice framework that it created. Fiona saying that thank you very much, very interesting, and I made a lot of notice and a lot of notes. Then we hope to have you again at some point in the near future. So thank you very much for your time, and
thank you.
Be in touch.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And I'm looking forward to any more ideas, any other things that we can dive deep into that whole journey of lead generation. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.